Hey everybody, this is the Sliders Review, and since it's Women's History Month, I'm here today to talk to you about the Powerpuff Girl movie. This came back out in about 2009, so it would have placed it around season 4 of the show. And the animation did change sometime after that, because with the movie, it's done with in computers, whereas the show was hand-drawn animation. Now, I really enjoyed this movie. I thought it was really good. It was really funny. And of course, it's the Powerpuff Girls, and it was really cute. There was some nice action in it. However, this movie didn't particularly do well at the box office. It's pretty much like has mixed reviews and stuff, and there's a good reason why. Despite being really good and really clever and everything, the problem is this is a prequel. And a lot of people probably wasn't expecting a prequel, but it still could have worked. Only problem is it has a huge timeline continuity issue from that of the show, mainly in two parts. And other than that, the movie would have been fine. Now, it could have used more action towards the middle. See, one problem with this is that the Powerpuff Girls are known for being superheroes, beating people up, making blood and guts splatter from like monsters, and making like, just like all kind of like really hardcore action stuff. Problem is, this was very light on action. The only action that actually happens in this is in the final third act of the movie. So in the first two, you're just giving like regular drama kiddie stuff, and like that's it. And people was not expecting that at all. And so I think if they would have had more action, I think also if this wasn't a prequel, if they would have set it in the present day and then did like the origin stuff and flashbacks, that would have been fine. Because the ending climactic scene is amazing and the action is awesome. Only problem is, like I said, it creates a huge continuity problem. And so because of that, people just kind of like whatever, It's kind of like they wasn't expecting this cute kitty little movie with action thrown at the very end. They was expecting it all throughout the movie. And so this movie, it starts off with the professor during the opening intro of the show. We're seeing him do like, all the stuff that makes like the Powerpuff Girls. And then we see Mojo Jojo as a regular dumb monkey, like push him and knocks over the chemical X into the concoction. And thus the Powerpuff Girls are born with sugar, spice, and everything nice. And so we get to now see what all happened right after that. And so that was kind of like cool. It's kind of like, what did happen after that? And basically it's just, I don't know. It's just like he just wanted a family. So he started like, oh, I have to go to the store and buy you this and buy you that. And like some other stuff. And so it was just kind of like, so he like, paints their rooms, he buys them toys. They already have clothes on, like just like in the cartoon. And then they make like the little like circle holes in like the wall so they can fly out and everything. And so they're basically just acting like a regular normal family. So he is very shocked and surprised to see that they have superpowers as they're like decorating like the home and everything, because I think he trips, falls high in the air, and they catch him with one hand. And so he wasn't really expecting this. So he's having a great time, and of course he's forgetting about his monkey Jojo. And so at this point in time, Mojo Jojo brain is exposed now, and he's like jealous and sad, and he leaves. And so after that, of course, since they're regular little girls and not superheroes, they have to like, go to school. Mojo Jojo is now living homeless and everything and in the streets. And so when the girls are at school, he tells them, don't use your power. No, not yet. My bad. I'm getting ahead of myself. And so they're at school and everything's fine. Now the personalities in this is all the same. The jokes, however, aren't really so much there. There's more camaraderie, ha ha ha-ness in the show and adult humor. Whereas in the movie, it's not. They probably did that for little kids and stuff. And so when they're at school, they have to play tag. And so when they tag Buttercup, she gets like irritated by that and she starts running super fast to where she crashes into Bubbles with her super speed and Bubbles crashes into like the building. And as she's laughing at Bubbles, Bubble gets mad and chases after her with her super speed and start flying. Then all the girls start flying around and they're pretty much wrecking the city. Now the whole like tag scene in the city, that was super cute. That was just fun to watch. Wait, have I reviewed this movie already? I'll do it again. So I feel like I've said this before. Maybe I said this in the TV show right now. I don't know. Anyway, so the whole scene through like, like the city was just like awesome. Now I will say it was a bit jarring because the animation is more sharp. It's more clean and it's brighter than normal, whereas the palette in the as the art style in the show is more hand drawn. It's a bit crooked. It's a muted palette, so this was very unique to see. Like it was very, very, very clean and everything. And so the mayor gets a hold of what the girls are doing and he's grumpy. So you think he's gonna scold them, but instead he's looking for a pickle. And then the girls crash into him in the pickle cart. This pisses him off. And the townspeople are furious. They find out the professor is the one who created them and they arrest him. And so like, no wait, I think they arrest him later. Yeah, he tells them never use your powers again, and then at some point they arrest the professor, and the girls don't really know about that yet. And so when the girls are like walking through town because they can't fly, they get lost, and then the Green Gang starts to attack them, only to be saved by Mojo Jojo. And he tells them like, oh, I'm an outcast as well, and blah 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 blah, stuff like that. So then at some point in time, when this is going on, the professor got arrested, and so Mojo Jojo tricks the girls into building his laboratory on top of the volcano, which I'll get into that a little bit later. So then he takes them to the zoo so he can scope out all the monkeys and the gorillas and stuff. And so after building everything he wanted, he tells them when we're done building this, oh, everybody in town is gonna love you and everything. And then so when the girls go home, they see the professor's not there, and then he comes back because he just got through being arrested. And so they say they have a big surprise for him. Well, Mojo Jojo has decided to link up like a transporter device to that of the monkey's cell and transport them all in his lab. With the chemical X that the girls have stolen from him, he now turns all the monkeys and the gorillas into what he is, a superpowered monkey with a brain exposed and is super smart. And he's going to use those monkeys as his army to take over the town. Well, the monkeys are wreaking havoc and everything. And so when the girls take Professor, they're like, look what we have for you. And then they see the chaos and everything. And he's all like, girls, what did you do? This is terrible, and blah, 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 and blah, blah, blah. So they get upset and they fly on out of there into space. And so then as Mojo Jojo is doing his monologue stuff, because he doesn't really do it in like, this movie. You know how he monologues all the time and refers to himself as a third person and all this other stuff? He doesn't do it until like one time in this movie. And so when he's doing it, he gets interrupted by the rest of the monkeys. They have decided to start acting just like Mojo Jojo. So now they're talking about how they're going to take over Townsville and they're going to take over the world. And they created all these inventions in the blink of an eye and everything. And so this pisses Mojo Jojo off, but he kidnaps the professor and he's monologuing about how he's going to be the only one. And then the professor lets out a scream. So by this time, the girls are in space on the asteroid and they're pissed at each other, blaming one another for what happened. When they hear the professor scream, they rush back to Earth and they see even more craziness and everything. So then as they're looking for the professor, they're trying to navigate their way through the city in the chaos, but then they happen to see people getting hurt. Bubbles is the first one to actually save somebody, where the other two girls don't want to. And so then all of a sudden, all the girls jump in and they start saving like people left and right. Then of course they're beating up on the monkeys. Like I said before, the action scene is awesome. And then when they get through all the monkeys, they all like they only got one monkey left. And they look up and it's Mojo Jojo and he asks the professor. And the girls finally say their line, "Not so fast, Mojo Jojo," which people just love, you know what I'm saying? And so then he injects himself with the remainder chemical X and grows really big. So of course they whoop on him and everything. And at some point in time, he gets the upper hand and he's trying to convince them girls we're the same. They hate you, they hate me. Let's take over the world and everything. They get pissed and then they start like telling him why they won't like join him. And then they do something really cute where they do like the whole tag thing and they defeat him. The people see this and then the people's all like, "Oh, we love you now, we want you to continue, like saving the city and everything." So then they give them the hotline phone and then it's a nice little montage of the narrator talking about sugar and spice and everything nice and blah blah blah. And we see them beat up on the green gang and everything. We see the girls just like flying around and basically that's it. Now the problem with this movie is that even though the personalities are the same, they don't really say and do things like they do in the show. Like I said, Mojo Jojo only monologues one time in this thing. The girls, they don't say their catchphrases and stuff. They still have the same personalities, but it's kind of like watered down from that of the show. Everybody's personality in this is very watered down, and the humor is just kind of like gone, and the raunchy humor is really gone. Now, the major continuity problems that this face has to do with everything that Mojo Jojo does. See, in the show, we didn't know this at first, but we assumed the professor created the girls and this and that. And then in an episode in the first season, Mojo Jojo lets the professor know that you created me, but I helped create the Powerpuff Girls and everything. And so the professor's like, "What are you talking about?" And the girls are very shocked. And he's all like, "I used to be your lab assistant. You're a little monkey called Jojo. But then like I pushed you into like the chemical X thing and then knocked over into like the concoction and it created the Powerpuff Girls." He's all like, "So without me, there would be no Powerpuff Girls and everything." And then he's all like, "You neglected me," and all this other crap. So he really laying down the guilt trip on the professor, talking about, "You abandoned me, you neglected me, you forgot all about me once those girls were made," which is what happened in the movie. And so then the professor's like, "Oh, I'm so sorry. I'll do anything to make it right." He's like, "Really?" So then him and Mojo Jojo create like a machine of mass destruction and everything. And then but Mojo Jojo gets his butt kicked by the Powerpuff Girls. And then it really does hit him. Crap, I helped create the Powerpuff Girls. So that part is accurate in the movie and everything. Him getting jealous, him leaving and this and that. And so, because the professor, when he saw Mojo Jojo, he never realized that was his monkey because it grew in size and his brain is exposed and he can now talk. So that part is accurate. The part that is not is something that else happens in the show. I think this might happen in the second season. See, Mojo Jojo wanted to know what exactly inspired the professor to create the Powerpuff Girls. And so he tries to ask him, and the adult professor tells him, "It's when I was a little boy in school. I got inspired, but I forgot exactly how." And so Mojo Jojo goes back in time to prevent that event from happening to create the Powerpuff Girls, thus forgetting that he helped create them as well. So that's a continuity issue in that episode. So when he goes back in time, he kidnaps the young professor. The girls go back in time to stop him. And so he goes to where his volcano lab is and he's pissed because he's all like, "Crap, I haven't created it yet." Now, he's not the one who created it. It's shown in the movie that the girls built it for him. So that's one continuity issue right there, is that he had the girls build it and everything. And they're unaware that they did that, even though they did it in the movie. So that's a huge continuity problem. Then as he's about to kill young professor, the girls save him. And then when they save him, he's disoriented and he sees the girls, three girls floating above him in a silhouette because the sun is shining on him. And so when they go back to the present, the older professors are like, oh, that's right. Now I remember how I got inspired. I woke up one day and I saw three girls flying above me, and that made me want to create them and everything. The three perfect little girls. So Mojo Jojo had a hand once again in creating the Powerpuff Girls, and he's pissed. Now, of course, he wouldn't know this in the movie because this is a prequel. But here's the thing. In the show, Mojo Jojo doesn't know how to create Powerpuff Girls. So he has to call the professor and ask. And then so he creates the Rowdy Rough Boys. Now in the movie, apparently he knows all of the Chemical X can create the girls. And he knows the formula to create the girls and everything. So that's a huge continuity problem right there if he didn't know in the show. Now the biggest and the main continuity issue of them all is Mojo Jojo's army of monkeys. Where are they in the show? Because they never were cured. So technically there are hundreds of monkeys and gorillas and apes who are all like Mojo Jojo. They're super smart. They want to take over the world and they're very evil. So where in the world were they in the TV show? And that's because they was created specifically for the movie. And that creates the biggest problem of them all. Because you think they will pop back up in the show and everything. This is why the movie should have been set in the present day. Now, they did try to retcon this. About, season 5 or so, they introduced one of the monkeys from the movies. But we never get to see this monkey in the movie. They just created him for the show and the continuity line of the movie. And basically, he's a monkey, a little dopey, little nerdy, like shy monkey who just wants revenge on Mojo Jojo because he feels abandoned by Mojo Jojo and stuff. And so the girls are trying to help Mojo Jojo find out who's trying to like kill Mojo Jojo and stuff. And so and it's one of the monkeys from the movie. So it's a continuity. So okay, they finally fixed that continuity because people was kind of like, yo, what's up with this and everything. So they fixed it, but they fixed it in a dumb way. So the question is, where are the rest? Which again causes a huge problem. And the show never tried to fix where the rest of them are at. Now, Craig McCracken, who created the Powerpuff Girls and directed the movie, he said he's just going to stick to TV. He said there's way too much politics into making a movie. Basically, studio interference and everything. And he wasn't down for all that. And in fact, he actually left the show. I don't know if it was just a Dexter's Lab, but one of those creators left the show before its last season was up. And of course, Craig was not involved in the reboot and everything. And he wasn't involved in a lot of the other stuff. So it's just kind of like, and that's when you start to see Powerpuff Girls go downhill. I believe he did leave before the last season was the 5th season and stuff. And that's why the tone shifted. Like the jokes had that stale. Like here's the thing: when I said the jokes were barely there in the movie and the personalities were watered down, basically they was kind of stale a little bit. And that's how the show ended up being towards the end. The jokes were kind of stale and lame, and the dialogue was kind of lame and stuff. And so, even though it is a really good movie, you will kind of be bored here and there, but there is some stuff that will keep you interested, like the tag thing was cute, how Mojo Jojo tricked the girls was cute and everything, and that was fun and stuff. And then but it really just picks up once you get to the ending of the movie with the climactic fight scene and stuff. Happy Women's History Month, everybody. All right, I'll talk to you later. Bye.